हरे कृष्ण। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा. So we welcome you back to the sixth day of this course, Rediscovering Vaidhi Bhakti Part 2. We have been discussing from the book Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. And in this we have been discussing the second wave of the eastern section. And in that, the 12th topic of the Angas of devotional service, the 64 limbs. That's what we started discussing. So we briefly saw the first 30 limbs, of which the first 20 limbs were 10 do's and 10 don'ts, which act as the door to devotional service, door to bhakti. In that we saw Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of the Guru, Krishna Dikshadi Sikshanam, accepting Siksha and Diksha from the Guru, Vishrambena Guror Seva, serving the Guru with great respect, Sadhu Vartma Anuvartanam, following the rules of the scriptures as approved by the Acharyas, Sadharma Pricha, inquiring into the nature of bhakti, what I need to practice, Sadharma Pricha, Bhogadityaga Krishnasya Hetave, giving up sense gratification so that the time, energy and resources can be utilized in Krishna's service. Nivasau Dwarakadavva Gangaderapi Sannidau, choosing to reside in a place that would inspire one's consciousness in the direction of Krishna, a holy dham or banks of Ganga, Yamuna, like that. Vyavahareshu sarveshu yavad artha anuvartita, accepting only what is necessary to live a simple life while dedicating the life for worshipping Krishna. Harivasara Sammanu, properly honoring and respecting the days connected to Krishna, like Ekadashi, Janmashtami, Ramanavami, like that. Datri Ashwattadi Gauravam, giving respect to the Amalaki, Ashwatta and other items. These are the first 10 do's. And the 10 don'ts. Sangatyago Vidurena Bhagavad Vimukair Janaihi, giving up the association of those who are opposed to the Lord. Shishyadi Ananubanditvam, not being attached to making too many disciples. Maha Arambadi Anudyama, not being attached to starting huge undertakings. Bahugrantha Kalabhyasa Vyakyavada Vivarjanam, not reading too many non-devotional books for the purpose of making a living or to defeat others in an argument. Vyavahare api akarpanyam. Vyavahare api akarpanyam means not feeling miserable in any situation because of having firm trust in Krishna's protection and grace. Shokadi avashavartita, consciously trying to check our consciousness from going into a state of extreme emotions so that we can constantly remember Krishna. Anya Devan Avagya, not disrespecting other demigods. Bhuta Anudvega Daita, not causing unnecessary violence or anxiety to other living entities. Seva Nama Paradhanam Udbhava Abhava Karita, not performing the Seva Aparad or Nama Aparad. Krishna Tad Bhakta Vidvesha Vinindadi Asahishnuta, being intolerant to the criticism of Krishna and his devotees by those who hate them. So these second 10 are to be avoided, and these 20, first 10 and the next 10 put together act as a door to bhakti. Those who want to perform bhakti, they cannot actually access the higher realms, higher levels of devotional development. Is not possible if these 20 preliminary limbs are compromised under any circumstance. Then we started seeing the next 20, next 44 limbs, in which we saw the first 10, marking the body with the Vaishnava symbols like Shankha, Chakra, like that, marking the body with the syllables of the Lord's names, using the Gopi Chandan to write Shri Krishna or Shri Radha in one's body, wearing the garlands, flowers, and sandalwood offered to the deity, dancing before the deity, offering respects on the ground, rising up to see the Lord, Abhyuttanam, following behind the Lord's procession, going to the Lord's residence, circumambulating the Lord or his dhama, and performing archana. So these are the 10 additional limbs that we have seen. So now we will continue to go over the rest of the limbs. Hopefully today we will complete the rest of the limbs, and then from tomorrow onwards we can start seeing proofs for these 64 limbs. The 11th limb is performing menial service to the deity. So because the whole purpose of deity worship is to create a mood of Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudas. I am a servant of Krishna. Because when we are performing menial service, we do it to our master, to our teacher, to our professor, whomever we consider, whomever we put on a very high pedestal, we don't mind serving them in any kind of menial way. And deity worship involves lot of menial services, like sweeping the floor and mopping the floor and washing the vessels and making the bhoga plate, offering plate for the deities. These all involve lot of menial service to the Lord. So therefore Srila Jiva Goswami says, in order for the more important limbs of devotional service are hearing and chanting, but even for hearing and chanting to happen in the right mood of being a servant, deity worship is extremely vital. And in performing deity worship, one should definitely start by performing the menial services, which can potentially reinforce the mood that he is the master and we are the servant. That mood of being the servant is very important, and that is very powerfully reinforced by performing this menial service, which is called as paricharya. Tvad britya paricharaka britya brityasya britya iti mam smaralokanata. In this way, Srila King Kulashekar, he offers his prayers to the Supreme Lord. Tvad britya paricharaka britya. So paricharaka means a person who performs menial service. You please consider me of the servant 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 of yourself. So in this way, paricharya is the 11th limb. 11th means here 31st limb. 12th or the 32nd limb is singing for the deity. So one could compose songs and sing them, or one could sing songs composed by other exalted Vaishnavas. That is a very important limb of devotional service. Singing in a group, singing alone is one limb. If you sing in a group, that is a second limb of devotional service. Sankirtanam. Geetam is one limb. Sankirtanam is another limb. Of course, Sankirtanam also means like the Yuga Dharma of this age of Kali is Harinama Sankirtan. So Harinama Sankirtan, the word Sankirtan has many meanings. Sankirtan means together, coming together with other devotees and glorifying the holy names of the Lord, chanting the holy names. That is one understanding of Sankirtan. Another meaning of Sankirtan is Samyak Kirtan, the complete Kirtan. Kirtan or any other limb of devotional service is complete only if it is performed without any offenses. So Sankirtan means chanting the holy name alone or in the association of devotees while consciously trying to avoid the 10 offenses. This is Sankirtan. So singing for the deity is one of the limbs, and in the association of others singing for the deities, that is another limb. Performing japa. So performing japa is one of the limbs, this is actually smaranam. This is one of the limbs, performing japa. Offering words or sentiments. So, oh Krishna, you are so beautifully dressed today. Krishna, you are looking so beautiful. Your eyes are extra merciful today. So like this, offering some words of appreciation, words of gratitude towards the deity form of the Lord is also a very important limb of devotional service. This is 35. So these are all more or less connected to the deity, and the way a person approaches the deity form of the Lord, it gradually changes according to his level of devotional development actually. When a person is a Kanishtadhikari, when he is a beginner, or he has not even begun, he is just out of sentiment worshipping the deities, his approach to the deity, it is mentioned, is on the platform of Jadamaya. Jadamaya consciousness. Jadamaya means he considers the deity as something not very exalted. He has a very ordinary understanding of the deities. Maybe something special he knows, but he does not think it is transcendental. So that is Jadamaya consciousness. But gradually when one progresses and in the association of devotees, he starts developing the right consciousness of being a devotee. He becomes a Madhyamadhikari, and at the stage of Madhyamadhikari, he sees the deity in the form of Manomaya consciousness, with Manomaya consciousness. Manomaya means, like most of us who are watching this video must be at the level of Madhyamadhikari. So what is the symptom? With respect to the deity, let's see one symptom of a Madhyamadhikari. We may go in front of the deities, we may offer our obeisances, we may offer our prayers also. But within heart of heart, we don't believe that this form of the deity is absolutely non-different from Krishna in Vrindavan. Pratima nahi tumi sakshat Brajendra Nandan. You are not a Pratima, but you are actually Brajendra Nandan, Krishna. So that faith we may not have. That is why sometimes those of you who may have had opportunities to do deity worship, sometimes the dressing may take little longer. So we want to perfectly dress the Lord, and in doing that, we eat up some time from the Bhoga offering time for the Lord. So sometimes we offer a big huge plate of Bhoga, but give the Lordships only 1 minute or 2 minutes to eat. Sometimes in extreme cases it becomes that bad, because the darshan has to be opened. So which means basically, to a living person, will you just offer the plate for 2 minutes and then say, this has some 10 puris and 2 katoris of sabji and some upma and some chutney and some sweet and some juice and water? You have 2 minutes to complete. Can any human being complete it in 2 minutes? Is it possible? So if we actually were seeing Krishna to be a personality, then we would be giving him sufficient time to honor that prasadam. So therefore, this is called as manomaya consciousness. And sometimes our behavior in front of the deity forms of the Lord may not be completely up to the mark. It's not that we don't consider the deity to be spiritual. We know that's why we are serving the deities, we are offering bhoga to the deities and all that. But still, our behavior, unconsciously, we may behave in a way which indicates that we don't completely trust that this deity is absolutely non-different from Krishna. Because in the presence of a living form of Krishna who is moving, and Radharani, would we behave in this way? Would we offer the plate for just 2 minutes and say, eat all of this? We would not. So this is manomaya consciousness. We may even offer prayers to the deity form of the Lord, but nevertheless, our behavior may not completely reflect our belief that this deity form of the Lord is absolutely non-different from the Supreme Lord. So that is the nature of a Madhyamadhikari. His devotional development does not completely allow him to see the way an Uttamadhikari sees the deities and deals with the deities. And the Uttamadhikari's vision of the deity is called as Chinmaya. He has a completely transcendental vision of seeing the Supreme Lord. So therefore, a Madhyamadhikari cannot imitate an Uttamadhikari. Whatever is his vision is his vision, but slowly he can learn how to deal with the deities by seeing how an Uttamadhikari deals with the deities perfectly as a person. He is a personality. He has likes, he has dislikes. He takes a particular duration of time to honor his bhoga. So all that sensitivities, those finer sensitivities will come gradually when we progress in our consciousness. How much closely we are dealing with the deities as if the deity is non-different from Krishna. Abhinnatvad nama namino. Just like the nama and nami are abhinna, non-different. Similarly, pratimana hi tumi sakshat Vrajendra Nandan. This is not a pratima. This is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That trust. The more we come closer to that is actually a symptom of our progress in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, offering words or sentiments. So these are in relationship with deities. The 11th, 12th, 15th, these are all connected to worshipping the deities. It is a very important limb, especially for the beginners. Srila Jiva Goswami very strongly recommends that, along with Shravanam Kirtanam, Archanam has to be performed in order to develop the right mood of performing Shravanam and Kirtanam. Actually, these limbs are very much complementary limbs. We should not see them as, if I do too much Archanam, I will get less time for chanting. If I do too much Shravanam, I will get less time for deity worship. One should not think like that, or I may lose taste for deity worship. It is not like that. Each limb is actually complementary limb. When we hear about the glories of Krishna, that Shravanam enhances our faith in Archanam, because, here is Krishna standing and he likes to eat this, let me offer it. So in this way, when done in the right mood, each limb of devotional service must enhance our faith in the other limbs also. So therefore, one should not be, generally when devotees argue with each other, which limb is most important? Generally when they are arguing, the person who argues for that particular limb is arguing because he is attached to that particular limb. That limb, maybe he is good at performing that limb and he likes to perform that limb. So generally when we argue as to which limb is most important, that actually is an indication of our own insecurity. So I must be an important person. Therefore, the limb that I am attached to, that must be a very important limb. But actually, limbs are actually very complementary. They complement each other. One who hears nicely naturally gets a taste for chanting also. One who chants nicely naturally gets an inclination to perform devotional deity worship also. Like that, if you see in the lives of great devotees in the past and even in the present, you read the biographies of the Vartaman Acharyas, the great devotees who have lived even now, some of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, we see in the case of Aindra Prabhu, generally attraction to all five limbs are there. Aindra Prabhu is known very much for his kirtans, but he was a voracious reader and he had a very good understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta also. And he had great attachment to worshipping the deities also. And he very firmly trusted in, and in his whole room there were so many Shaligram Shilas he was worshipping, apart from worshipping Shri Radha Shyam Sundar. And serving the Vaishnavas, he was very much committed to. Living in the Dham, he was living there. So in this way, if you see, generally advanced devotees have attachment to all the five limbs. We read in the biography of Her Grace Yamuna Mataji also. She had such tremendous trust in the holy name. She dedicated the later half of her life purely for spreading the glories of the holy name. What attachment she had for her deity Shri Shri Radha Banbihari. Such attraction for serving the deities, for serving the holy name, for serving the Vaishnavas. Her whole life was dedicated to serving the Vaishnavas. If you read the various pastimes, the memories and the reflections shared by various devotees in her biography, so touching. And her attraction for the Dham is unparalleled. She had so much attraction for Mayapur, Vrindavan. So in this way, if you see, great devotees, advanced devotees don't unnecessarily spend time arguing which limb is more important and which limb is less important. Actually, they appreciate all the limbs and they see all the limbs as being complementary to each limb. Like that. Reciting prayers, that is 16th limb. Stava Pata, offering prayers. One can offer one's own prayers or the prayers offered by exalted Vaishnavas. That is one of the very important limbs. 17th is we most of us may not even see it as a devotional service. Tasting food offered to the Lord. It is such a pleasurable activity. I don't think anyone would deny that tasting the food offered to the Lord is not pleasurable. But Krishna says, you honor prasadam, I will give you devotional credit. I will consider you as a great devotee. You just honor prasadam offered to me. 17th limb. Padya asvadanam. Tasting the foot water offered to the Lord. Sharire jajjari bhute vyadigraste kalevare aushadam jannavi toyam vaidyo narayano harihi. It is mentioned in the Shastras. Sharire jarjari bhute. This body is becoming more and more decrepit, ready to fall down at any moment. Vyadigraste. It is completely pedant or completely filled with diseases. What is the solution? Aushadam Jannavi Toyam. The medicine is the foot wash of the Supreme Lord. And Ganga is what? Foot wash of the Supreme Lord. So, Tvat Pada Salilam. So, Yat Pada Salilam Yata. Like that. So, Aushadam Jannavi Toyam. And who is the doctor? Vaidyo Narayano Harihi. And what does, when the doctor Lord Narayana administers his foot wash, which is the medicine, does it cure the disease that we are suffering from? The malaria or COVID-19, does it cure such diseases? It cures the disease of samsara completely. So when we take Vishnu Padodakam, the foot wash, the water offered to wash the feet of the Lord, that Vishnu Padodakam actually cures us of the most deep-rooted disease of our wanting to rot in this material world. That is the disease it cures. It cures the disease of samsara and not just some small disease like malaria or COVID-19. Smelling the incense and flowers offered to the Lord, how much more easy can devotional service become? A flower has been offered to the Lord. Anyone has a natural inclination to smell a fragrant object. And if that fragrant object happens to be offered to the Supreme Lord and you smell it, the Lord gives you credit for that. How much more can bhakti become easy? Susukam kartum avyayam. So easy to perform. Touching the deity. For those who are second initiated, Brahmin initiated, to touch the deity is a limb. Serving is another limb. Performing menial service is another limb. Just touching the deity is also a limb of devotional service. So easy. If you cannot touch the deity, seeing the deity, taking darshan of the deity, that anyone can do, that is a limb of devotional service. See in the Artik and festivals, if seeing the deity form of the Lord is one of the limb, and if you on top of that, if on a day of festival, when you are watching the, or on a regular day also, if you are watching the Aarti of the Lord or a festival performed to the Lord, you get the benefit of two limbs, seeing the deity and seeing the festival, both. The only trouble or the only roadblock is faith. That's all. Just that we must have faith that I am doing a very, very important activity that is going to change my life. I am doing an activity which will change my life. Can seeing change our life? Yes. Let us say if one is writing one's board exam, and if he is caught seeing the answer sheet of the person who is sitting next to him, it is just a mere act of seeing 24 hours a day, except for the time we are sleeping, we always see. But that one act of seeing can be a life changer. If he is caught, he will be barred from writing board exam for at least 2 or 3 years. So just a mere act of seeing, even in the material world, can be a life changing experience. Similarly, taking darshan of the form of the Lord can be a life changing experience if only we had full trust that taking darshan of the Lord can actually change my life. That faith. They speak about the story of one very great Sri Vaishnava saint. His name is Shri Varavara Muni or Shri Manavala Mamunigal, they say in Tamil language, or Varavara Muni in Sanskrit. He was a very great Acharya in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. He was married and his greatest pleasure was, and he lived in Srirangam. And his greatest pleasure was to go to the temple of Srirangam and take darshan of Ranganathji. And he was very much attached to taking darshan of the Supreme Lord. And on one particular day, while he was walking to take darshan of Ranganath, one of his relatives came running and he stopped him and he said, "Oh, you cannot go and take darshan of Ranganath today. Not just today, but for the next 10-12 days, because one of your relatives has left his body, and for the next 13 days or so, you cannot actually visit the temple. It is inauspicious." So he said, "Really? But I cannot live even one day without taking darshan of Ranganath." He thought for a few seconds and he said, "Okay, I will not break the rule." So he goes to Kaveri river, takes a bath, and sitting on the banks of Kaveri, he accepts sannyas there only. On that very day. And after accepting sannyas, he said, now for a sannyasi, he is cut from all his family. So now I don't have to experience the separation from taking darshan of the Supreme Lord. So, and then he moves, and with this sannyas danda and his sannyas clothes, he goes to take darshan of Lord Ranganath. This is faith. He feels this taking darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a life-changing experience. That was the trust that Varavara Muni had towards taking darshan of the Supreme Lord, to the extent that when someone told him, I cannot go and take darshan of the Supreme Lord, he felt completely devastated. And he said, that is impossible, I will give up my life. So he goes to Kaveri and takes sannyas just so that he could take darshan of the Supreme Lord Ranganath. So these are examples, sterling examples. So the only thing that is lacking is faith. So with that kind of a faith, when one takes darshan of the Supreme Lord, then it can completely have a transforming effect in that person. And then hearing the name, form, qualities and pastimes of the Lord, attending Bhagavatam class, or like you all are sitting in front of your monitor or your phone and you are listening to something in which I am not glorifying you. It is about glorification of some other person. We are glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you are sitting and spending your valuable time and energy hearing all this. This is a very, very important limb of devotional service, and Krishna never fails to reward such act. So that is a very important limb of devotional service. Accepting the mercy of the Lord. Tat kripa ikshanam. In whatever form it comes, as we saw the verse, tattenu kampam susamikshamanu. Even seeing the merciful hands of the Lord even in reversals. Tat kripa ikshanam. That is accepting the mercy of the Lord. Why should I be deprived of the mercy of the Lord, which is coming in the form of a reversal? So we do accept, just like the mercy can come in the form of a surgeon's scalpel or a surgeon's injection. We pay the surgeon and we pay the doctor to get pricked and cut, because we have firm trust that here is a person who knows what he is doing, and at the end of it, I will feel my life will change. So we willingly accept reversals, temporary reversals, for permanent satisfaction. So why should we not repose that trust in the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Tat kripa ikshanam, receiving the mercy of the Lord. 25th is remembrance of the Lord. You don't even have to be in Srirangam or Vrindavan. Just sitting where you are, if you fondly remember Lord Ranganath or Radha Shyam Sundar or Krishna Balramji or Gaurnitai, just fondly remember, that is a very powerful limb of bhakti. If that remembrance can go little further and you can meditate little more deeply, then it is called as dhyanam. Nama Rupa Guna Adinam Shushtu Chintanam Dhyanam. So Dhyanam means deeper meditation on the Nama Rupa Guna Leela of the Supreme Lord. It is not like incidental remembrance. Remembrance is incidental, but meditation is not incidental. It is performed with endeavor, cheshta, there is swacheshta involved. So with cheshta, when one tries to remember the Supreme Lord, that is called as dhyanam. Then 27th is acting as a servant of the Lord. Kainkaryam, kinkara. So this is a very powerful limb of the Lord. Dasyam, this is called as dasyam. And within dasyam, this specific mode of being a personal servant of the Lord is called as kainkaryam. And 28th is thinking of the Lord as a friend, sakyam. Within sakyam, there is vishwasa and mitra vritti. Vishwasa means having firm trust. Oh, my friend will help me, he will come to my help. And mitra vritti means having a very friendly disposition towards the Lord. Not in a cheap, disrespectful way, but in a very loving, affectionate way. One may have mitra vritti towards the Supreme Lord. Then 29th is Atma Nivedanam, offering oneself to the Lord, complete surrender. And one may, in the material world, surrender is the last thing that we want to hear actually. Because the living entity has come to this material world because of not wanting to surrender to Krishna. And that negative feeling towards the act of surrender, he carries over throughout his sojourn in this material world. So therefore, when we hear of surrender, Atma Nivedanam, we think it's such a distressful thing. Why should I surrender? Can't I have some independence? So he says that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his bhajans, he says that actually surrendering my independence is the most blissful activity. In fact, after making this surrender, I realized that I have never felt so happy and anxiety free in my life after handing over my free will to you, Krishna. Just like the child feels most secure and anxiety free in the loving embrace and control of his father or mother. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Atma Nivedan tuva pade kori hoinu parama sukhi. My dear Krishna, by surrendering myself to you completely, tuva pade kori, unto your lotus feet, hoinu parama sukhi, I have become most happy. Dukkha dure gela, chintana rohilo, chaudikke ananda deki, he says. Dukkha dure gelo, all my anxieties and suffering, they are gone because Krishna has taken over. All your debts I will take care, don't worry. Chinta na rohilo, there is no anxiety. Chaudikke ananda deki, on all four directions I am seeing only bliss, bliss, bliss everywhere. So this is the testimony or the realization or personal experience of a person who perfectly surrendered to Krishna. He says, look, it's not like what you people think, it's the most blissful thing. I invite you to just follow me and surrender to Krishna. This is my experience. This is my personal experience. Dukkha dure gelo, chintana rohilo, chaudikke ananda deki. This is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is presenting, his experience of surrendering to Krishna. Then the 30th limb is offering the best items to the Lord, because this is natural. Just like a mother would like to use the best ingredients and cook in the best way to feed the child, because she loves the child. Similarly, a devotee also is non-compromising in offering the best items for the service of Krishna. And the most exemplary example of this is Sri Raghav Pandit. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita we see this example of Sri Raghav Pandit, who would every day offer a few coconuts. Amongst many other things, he would also offer a few coconuts to the Supreme Lord. And even though he himself had a garden filled with coconut trees, but his understanding was, oh, this coconut is not very sweet. So he would travel something like 20-25 kilometers and get the best of the coconuts and offer them to the Supreme Lord. And in doing so, one of the days, the pujari who was offering the coconuts to the Supreme Lord, his hands touched the ceiling, and the ceiling might have some dust. So Raghav Pandit felt that coconut to be unofferable. So he took that coconut back, went again, traveled 25 kilometers one way, 25 kilometers return, and brought fresh new coconuts to be offered to the Supreme Lord. That was the standard of Sri Raghav Pandit, offering the best items to the Lord. We should not shy away to offer the best things that we have for the pleasure of the Lord. And Krishna does not want our items. Krishna wants that sentiment of love that we have for Krishna. When we are willing to sacrifice the best of the things that we have for the pleasure of Krishna, then Krishna gives the best of what he has for honoring us. We should have firm trust. Krishna will not take everything that we offer to him and keep us deprived. So, of course, he is a thief. He steals butter. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur, in one of his prayers, Chaurashtakam, he has glorified Krishna as the thief. But nevertheless, it's a glorification. So, in that he says, Padashritanam cha samasta chauram, Chauragraganyam purusham namami. He says, Padashritanam cha samasta chauram. He is such a very interesting thief that he steals everything from a person who has willingly surrendered to him. This Krishna is such an interesting thief that he steals everything away from them. Padashritanam cha samasta chauram, Chauragraganyam purusham namami. Of course, in this material world, what valuable thing do we have? Everything is nashwar, everything is temporary. Shanabangur. In a moment it can be taken away, and Krishna actually takes it away in a moment and gives the most valuable thing that he has, his own abode, to that devotee. So therefore, in offering the best items that we have to Krishna, we don't lose anything, we actually gain. So in surrendering actually is our true freedom. 31st is making full efforts for the Lord. Um, in whatever activity one does, putting one's heart and soul for the pleasure of the Lord, because this is one opportunity that we have while our body is firm and fit, while our consciousness is firm and fit, while our senses are firm and fit. If we don't offer it in service to the Lord, then how are we going to feel inspired in offering when they become decrepit and not usable in the service of Lord? That's why King Kulashekar in his prayers in Mukundamala Stotra, he says, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva Me Manasu Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapavada Pittau Kantavarodana Vidau Smaranau Putaste. He says, my dear Lord, Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam Adyaiva Me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa. My dear Lord, your feet, your two lotus feet are like lotus, and I am like a Rajahamsa. My mind is like a Rajahamsa. A Rajahamsa, its greatest pleasurable activity is going and it has a long neck. So it twirls its neck around the stems of the lotus and plays with that lotus. That is the greatest pleasure sport of the Rajahamsa bird. He says, your feet is like the lotus, and I am like the Rajahamsa. My mind is like the Rajahamsa. While I am hale and healthy, please take me away, Krishna, because now I am able to think of you favorably. But prana prayana samaye, when it is time for when I become old, and when it is time for me to leave my body, I am not sure if I will be able to think of you. Kapha, Vata, Pitta, and all of them become completely disturbed, and it will disturb my remembrance of you. Now I am able to remember you properly. You take me away right now. Like that, he offers his prayers, making full efforts for the Lord. Okay. So while the body is healthy, one should make full efforts for the pleasure of the Lord. Surrendering to the Lord. This is another limb. Of course, we have seen Atma Nivedanam and surrendering. There is a subtle difference. When we actually visit these limbs, we will see that difference between Atma Nivedanam and Sharanapatti or Sharanagati. We will see the difference. Serving Tulasi. Tulsi Maharani is the most dear servant of Krishna. That is why we see in many different pastimes, when even in Govardhan Leela we see Girirajji, when they are offering that Chappan Bhog to Girirajji, he is eating and eating and eating, and he says, Aniyor, 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 give me more, give me more. And after everything, ponds and lakes of kheers and mountains of rice and all such different items have been offered. After eating all of that, he says, Aniyor, Aniyor, give me more, give me more. And then finally, he is offered a tulsi, and immediately he becomes pacified. Because that tulsi is most dear to the Supreme Lord. And Tvayaiva murtis tulasi nriloke. It is mentioned by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Vrinda Devi Ashtakam. So that Vrinde Devi who orchestrates all the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, in Nriloke, in this material world, she has taken the form of Tulsi. She is one of the most dear associates of Krishna, dearmost associates of Krishna. Vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Tvayaiva murtis tulasi nriloke. In this material world, you Vrinde Devi have come in the form of Tulsi. So therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances. So therefore, Prabhupada instituted very high standards of worship of Tulsi within ISKCON. And some of his disciples have taken this Tulsi worship to such a high standard that even in countries like Russia and other such, Siberia and other such countries, at such low temperatures, actually Tulsi Maharani cannot grow. But we see such committed worship of Tulsi Maharani in even such countries where they have built temperature air conditioned places for protecting her. And seeing that devotion, actually probably if an ordinary person for some research purpose is trying to protect her in that way, she will probably not grow. Seeing that devotional endeavor of the devotees, she so luxuriantly grows. Actually, if you see some of the Tulsi leaves which grow in Russia, it smells like Tulsi but looks quite different. It has such thick leaves, just like, you have to be thick skinned to endure the temperatures, such sub-zero frigid temperatures of places like Russia. They grow, but they look quite different from the regular Tulsi that grows here. Even though it has come from the same seed, she very nicely adapts to their mood of worship and also to the temperature of that particular country. So she responds to devotion. When that devotion is there, she grows very luxuriantly. Studying the scriptures, especially the Bhakti Shastras, actually only the Bhakti Shastras. One should be, other than Bhakti Shastras, it comes in the 14th limb to avoid Bahugrantha Kalabhyasa Vyakya Vada Vivarjanam, studying useless books for making a living. Any other book other than Bhakti Shastra comes within that category. Studying the scriptures, very important limb. Living in Mathura. So actually some of these limbs, even though he says 64, but actually there are not 64, there are about 57, 58 only. Some of the limbs are repeated twice, some of the limbs are repeated thrice, in order to emphasize the importance of those limbs. Those last 5 limbs are repeated at least once more. Maybe some are mentioned twice, thrice, like that, in order to emphasize their importance. So living in Mathura will again come again for the third time, because one of the first 20 limbs we saw, Nivaso Mathuradau va Gangaderapi Sannidau. So that was one, and living in Mathura is coming again, and Mathura Mandale Sthiti it will come again in one of the last 5 limbs. So 3 times this one limb is repeated in order to indicate how important it is, in order to develop love for Krishna, how important it is to stay in a place that can naturally inspire our remembrance of Krishna, which is the holy Dham. Therefore it keeps repeating again and again. Serving the devotees, again it is repeating. Serving the deities we saw, serving the devotees, again it will repeat in one of the last 5 limbs. This is called as Tadiya Aradhanam. And holding festivals according to one's means with the devotees. So whatever one can spend, one should spend that much to celebrate the festivals connected to the Supreme Lord, Janmashtami, Ram Navami, like that. That is a very, very important limb. Observing Kartik Vrata. So the Kartik month, just as Damodar is most merciful, the month connected to Damodar, that is the Damodar month, which is also called as Kartik month, is considered to be most merciful. So any spiritual activity performed during that month of Kartik, its potency is multiplied by thousands of times. So therefore, observing Kartik Vrata is a very important limb of devotional service. Observing Janmashtami and other special occasions. Again, Harivasara Sammano we have already seen, and again it is getting repeated here as the 39th limb. Then the 40th limb is having faith and great affection for serving the deity. Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti. So if you see these last 5 limbs, as we saw one other day also we saw this, the 5 potent limbs we have already seen deity worship. But these now we have entered into the last 5 limbs, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. These 5 are the most potent limbs. But worshipping the deity is not is a limb of bhakti, but it is not the most potent limb. The most potent limb is Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti. Preeti means great affection. One must have great affection and attraction for serving the lotus feet of the deities. That is a very important limb. Not just serving the deities. Oh, it is my day today, it is my turn today. You serve the deities, it is a limb of devotional service. But it is not the most potent limb. The most potent limb it becomes a most potent limb when there is preeti. Great attraction and affection for serving the deity forms of the Lord. Shri Murter Angri Sevane Preeti. Reading Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam. We have already seen this. Reading scriptures is one of the limbs. But that is a limb of bhakti, but it is not the most potent limb of bhakti. The most potent limb of bhakti is Srimad Bhagavata Artha Aswadaha. Trying to understand the deeper meanings of Bhagavatam and relishing it in the association of devotees. That is a very potent limb in the association of devotees and relishing the deeper messages and the meanings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Association with Vaishnavas is a limb of bhakti, but it is not a potent limb of bhakti. The potent limb of bhakti is that association should have these 4 factors. Sajatiya Ashaye Snigde Sadhu Sangha Swatovare. Sajatiya Ashaye means like-minded. They should have, like-minded means they should have a common idea of what success is, common definition of success. Oh, the definition of success is if we lovingly hear the pastimes of the Lord. The definition of success is if we chant more and more. The definition of success is if we worship the deities with great love and affection. So that way, if they have a common definition of success, they can enthusiastically apply themselves to those very same activities. Snigde, not only should there be a common appreciation, but there should be affection also. When there is that affection, then the devotees can get wonderful joy. One would eagerly look forward to coming together and serving. Snigde. And that should be sadhu sangha also. Because we may have loving affection and we may have like-mindedness, but it may not be sadhu sangha. It should be sadhu sangha. And 4th point, swato vare. That association should be more elevated than us. That devotee should be more elevated than us, or at least It should be mutually elevating, coming together. You come together, have a wonderful discussion of Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, and at the end of it, both the devotees feel completely enlivened and elevated. That is Swato Vare. That kind of association of devotees is a most potent limb. Singing for the deity we already saw, or chanting also we saw as one of the limb. But he says Nama Sankirtan. Sankirtan means chanting without offenses, or chanting in the association of devotees. That is a very potent limb. And visiting the Dham is a limb of devotional service, but to live in the Dham is a very potent limb of devotional service. If one cannot live there physically, one can live there within their mind, within their heart. Like they say, I lost my heart in Vrindavan. Not just to wear it as a t-shirt, but to actually develop genuine appreciation for the holy Dham. That is a very potent limb of devotional service. So in this way, we have just seen the 64 limbs. Now we will see proofs for these 64 limbs. That will continue tomorrow. We have already reached our time limit. So 6 days are over. We have one more day for the part 2 to get over, but you need not worry. Part 3 is starting day after tomorrow, just one day after that. So we are going to continue this series because when I started it, I was not sure how elaborately we were going to discuss. But then I thought maybe we would need part 2, but then now it seems like we might need part 3 also to continue and complete this course. So please stay tuned. Tomorrow is the 7th day of part 2, and day after tomorrow is the first day of part 3. So it's going to continue. So thank you very much for your patient listening. I'll be eagerly waiting to take your association tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki jai. Shri Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.